Hello, welcome to Kaijudo 24/7. I'm Jared Oxader.
And I'm Robert Arguelles.
And today we're going to be reviewing Shattered Alliances covering the Darkness Civilization. First card we're going to talk about is Cursed Eye Black Feather. Only one ability. He's a 5-drop 3000, and he has one ability, Soul Blast. Whenever your opponent discards a card, you may draw a card.
And he's a Spectre. Initial value. Oh, well, we didn't talk about our scale.
Yeah.
Our scale is 1 to 5. Well, 0 to 5. 0 is those really not playable cards. 5 being the most playable cards where you're going to need them if you want to build a specific deck.
And then our value scale is value, whatever.
Yep.
So we gave this guy a value of 1 and a playability of 1. So
overall, not too impressed, but
yeah,
probably worth $1 as a rare.
Right. The other version of him, I think, is a little better because you're reliably going to be able to kill creatures than you are going to be able to make your opponent discard.
However, if there is an archetype that comes up that's just straight discard, this guy could have some playability, and I would be surprised if it were to increase. Yeah. But at the moment, we don't have too many discard decks,
right.
But it is a possibility.
Right. Next card we have is Dagger Doll. 4-drop, 2k with Slayer. Evil Toy. I gave it a value of nil. It'll be valued at whatever a common is valued at, and I didn't give it a playability of 0 just because it has Slayer.
It can randomly kill big things.
Yeah,
so.
I think there's better options. There's a 4-drop. I think Featherfin Stalker is a rare out of Clash, who's 4 and he's a little bigger and he has Slayer and he also has something else because he's a blue, He's a water darkness hybrid.
Yeah.
I think he Aqua Sinestral when he attacks.
Okay.
So yeah, I think they have better options, but this isn't unplayable. But we could be seeing Evil Toy support in the future. I think that was something that happened in Duel Masters, and that we could see happen.
Which would be pretty interesting. Yep.
Yeah, I mean Razorkinder's a Evil Toy as well, so definitely, I'm sure they'll support it eventually. Next up, we have another version of our wonderful Squeaky. 7-drop, 8000, very aggressively costed. Doom Blast Scar Adorable. He's a Chimera. He double breaks, and his ability is Shattering Scream. When this creature enters a battle zone, banish target enemy creature that is level 4 or less. Then choose one of your opponent's shields. This creature breaks that shield.
We put an initial value in it, about $10, a playability of 4. This is a card that can see some pretty interesting things. The creature can be tapped or untapped. It gets around that. It also can be bounced back with some other cards in the set. So there's some more potential, and I mean, just breaking a shield is usually a pretty good ability.
Yeah, I mean, I could see control lists playing maybe 1 or 2 of just to deal with like really aggressive things. I think the Leviathan, King Coral still does a better job. But in mid-range lists, which we're going to see more of with this set out, I think mid-range got a lot of support. I think this is a very good top end of the list because he still does double break, and he will stall out an opposing, like a very aggressive deck.
Yep, and I think he was properly placed at 7,000, 8,000, a super rare. Again, the value being $10 and a playability of 4.
All right, next up we have Gaunt Boneweaver, 4-drop 3000, blocker, guard, and the ability Needle Claws. Whenever this creature blocks, target enemy creature gets negative 2,000 power until the end of the turn.
On the playability scale, we gave it about a 3. It allows your opponent to screw up. A lot of times players don't pay attention to abilities, and this allows your opponent to misplay. Not only that, it can kill some decent stuff, I would think.
Yeah, Stephen Ferry was arguing that it's just better than Scarred Orbital or Gloom Hollow. Scarred Orbital, the issue we've been running into with him is he can't counterswing at anything. And this guy can't counterswing, but he can still be used as removal. Since he can block something and give something else -2.
Yep.
So it
Which
can,
in a lot of the rush decks, everything is pretty small. So
yeah.
it can just straight up kill a creature.
Right. With all the tap out abilities, though, it's kind of rough. So, I mean, like, we could have given this a higher value because we do think it is pretty playable. But in the end of the day, I don't know that we're going to see, like, 3 ofs in a lot of lists.
Yeah, and then again, it isn't uncommon.
Yep. Alright, next up we have Ghostbite. 4-drop, level 4, Shield Blast. Target enemy creature gets negative 3,000 power until the end of the turn.
It is a shield blast. That's one thing that's always pretty good in our books. As far as value, there won't be too much there, so pretty much whatever a basic common is. Playability of 2.5. Mixing a creature at 3,000 or less for 4 is pretty relevant, especially in a lot of the aggro decks. This, again, a better option, I believe, would be Bone Blades, but this is something that is still playable.
Yeah, I really actually liked, just before the championships, I was looking at Toxic Fog, which is the 3-drop negative 4K. I like Toxic Fog a lot because it was positioned very well against aggro, but Moonblade still is better. This is kind of a more expensive but cooler Toxic Fog because it does have the Shield Blast, but I think it's going to be very meta dependent. So we gave it a 2.5 because it could be a 2. Like, it could be playable, it'll get some things even against control, but...
And in Kalima, you're going to need access to cards like these if you're playing mono black, so it's not horrible, it does have some playability, and again, it is a 2.5 on our scale.
Yup. So next up we have Maddening Whispers. 5-drop spell. Your opponent chooses and discards 2 cards.
We put initial value about $2 as an uncommon. Playability of 3. This card is overall just efficient. It's good at 5. Your opponent discarding 2 cards is good. As far as 3 of, late game it's not so good, but it's overall a efficient card.
Yeah, I actually argued that this would replace Skull Shatter. Obviously, there are games in Control Mirrors where you'd rather have the Skull Shatter and you'd rather shatter your opponent out. But I think Maddening Whispers against a lot of the meta is still going to be very strong. If you make a control deck discard 2 cards, they're going to be in top deck mode. They're probably going to have to be mana zoning things that they don't necessarily want to mana zone. Those of you that follow Gorby, I don't know if he tweeted this or if I saw it as a Facebook status, but the art is 2 specters tickling a beastkin. So that's
Some interesting art there.
it's pretty funny. Yeah, so value of 2, playability of 3. Next up we have the Mark of Kalima. 8-drop spell. Choose 1. Put a creature named Kalima from your hand in the battle zone. Queen Kalima. Or put the top 2 cards of your deck into your discard pile. For each darkness card put into your discard pile this way, your opponent chooses one of his or her creatures in the battle zone. Banish those creatures.
We put initial value about $1 or $2, a playability of 2. If you're playing the mono black Queen Kalima deck, I think it's a very amazing card in there. You're gonna hit 2 creatures every time. It's just gonna be very relevant. And overall, not too much playability besides with just Queen Kalima or in mono darkness, but
yeah, I think this mark and Eternal Haven's mark are more playable than the marks we saw out of the last set, but still definitely just a value of 1 to 2 and a playability of 2.
Yep.
And we have Tygif, 3-drop 3,000 vanilla, meaning it has no abilities. It is a Chimera. I gave it a value of 0. It'll just be valued at whatever common is, and I didn't give it a playability.
Yeah.
But I guess it would be a 1 because it is a Chimera. You can Evo Hydra Medusa into this guy.
That is true.
There are options for this. So, not completely unplayable, but...
maybe a 0.5.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing Mono Darkness, I think that you'd rather drop like Grudgeweaver or something else in that turn, but...
They're scare adorable, even.
Yeah, So, yeah, so playability.
Overall, pretty underwhelming.
Right. And then we have our super rare from Darkness from this set, Queen Kalima, a level 10, for 16,000, so it is bigger than our other Monarch in the set. Triple Breaker. First ability, Gaze into the Abyss. When this creature enters the battle zone, you may put the top 3 cards of your deck into your discard pile. For each Darkness card put into your discard pile this way, your opponent chooses one of his or her creatures in the battle zone. Banish those creatures. Second ability, Reanimate. Whenever this creature attacks, choose a creature in your discard pile and return to your hand. And Darkness Monarch. Each of your other Darkness creatures gets plus 4,000 power.
As far as power goes, I think the only thing bigger is Infernus the Immolator, right?
I believe so.
And that's at, I believe, 17,000.
Mm-hmm.
So it is very
technically an Ironvine Dragon can trade with this guy.
Very true, very true. Aside from that, it's very, very playable. Especially, I can't stress enough, Mono Darkness. Don't be surprised if you guys run into that. Queen Kalima, it's a good play. If it's a good card, you hit the top 3 cards, they're going to all be black. You're going to remove 3 creatures. That's really detrimental to your opponent's board state.
Yeah, the hype going for a couple of weeks now since Championships has been the Queen Kalima deck, who we saw, I think James Hata played it at the Championships, R&D member. And it's a very new style of play for Kaijudo, and I think it'll be very good. It's good to diversify the meta. But
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be playable, and I think it'll be one of the cheaper decks to build aside from the Queen Kalimas, which are valued
Right.
at $30.
And
Playability of 3, but if you're playing the Mono Darkness deck, you definitely need 4 of them or 3 of them, and in that case, it would be a playability of 5 just for that deck.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it is very, very specific. It can't really be played besides the Mono Darkness.
Yeah, I mean, when they brewed the list, the R&D member, he did have green, so he could ramp into this guy. You could play now. We have access to the green black, dual civ creatures and stuff.
There are some
so.
dual civ cards, so again, Mono Darkness doesn't necessarily mean just Mono Darkness. It just means every card in your deck has darkness in it.
Correct. All right, that was our set review of Darkness from Shattered Alliances. If you want to keep going to the playlist, you can go to the next color and keep listening to us blabber about these cards. Otherwise, if you watch this one last, then you're done. Thanks for watching. I'm Jay Doxator.
And I'm Robert Arguelles.
And we'll see you later.